This week on Fade to Black, an interview with hip-hop artist Shadia Mansour on her new film, Existence is Resistance. I'll be breaking down what's playing this week at La Cinémathèque Québécoise. Me and Thomas will be discussing Abbas Kiarostami's latest film, as well as giving our DVD picks for this week. Check it out. Reporter Mickey Boston went out and talked to Palestinian hip-hop artist Shadia Mansour about her new film, Existence is Resistance.
إذا بتفكر إنه حالتك درجة تالتة خد ثواني من وقتك وامشي قدامي تنشوف البيوت والمدارس خرباني ختيارية معدن بفتشوا في زبالة مافيا.
I'm right here at La Sala Rosa again with Shadia Mansour, First Lady of Arabic Hip Hop. And Shadia, talk to us about Existence is Resistance. What is Existence is Resistance in the first place? Because I know a lot of people out there are curious to know. They were unable to come to today's conference. Can you talk to us about what your knowledge is like? How does Existence is Resistance function? How does it work? Where is it going?
Well, Existence is Resistance is a grassroots organisation. It was founded in 2009 after the atrocities in Gaza. It's really a base and a shelter for the youth, marginalised youth, stereotyped youth who live under oppression, who are constant victims of racism, discrimination, and focuses on resistance through the arts.
And after coming to Montreal, is this your first time in Montreal?
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing that I've come for the first time, invited by Artists Against Apartheid. To be here for a cause like that is an honour, and it's a pleasure really to be here. EIR strives to unite marginalised youth globally with outlets in the arts to express, process, and improve their situations. Their organisation is here to work in the communities of those undergoing oppression, while recognising the empowering artistic talents of the people. They feel that one must acknowledge that inspiration is the key to expressing these talents, and the proper tools to find one's ability is a catalyst for great change. An empowered society is a powerful society, in their words.
For existence is resistance, because as long as you exist, you can resist.
No matter how much they want us out of here, we survive, we thrive, and we're here tomorrow.
Children, it's about resistance through arts rather than violence.
Help in any way we can.
Make sure that the truth is really spread and is really heard.
People don't have that voice.
It's very disheartening.
My question, where is the humanity?
How do you feel that in context of the political hip-hop that's being done today in 2011 in a post-9/11 era, do you think that political awareness is being brought to the fore more and more? Do you feel that the youth around the world are listening and having more of an inclination to a political hip-hop which speaks to them and their desires for change, especially in the Middle East?
Absolutely. I think that artists today, like myself and M1 and many others, Loki, People's Army, Logic, all the people you saw in the clips, are like I would say the CNN of hip hop and the truth. I think truth has a bigger window now, and we've been censored, we've been let down by the mass media. We've been censored for too long. We've been silenced for too long in terms of distorting our freedom of speech. And I think that definitely now with the internet, of course, we have social media is like the new PR these days. So we use that, we utilate that.
Right now I'm with my brother right here of Nomadic Massive, Lou Pienza, alongside the young youth of the No Bad Sound studio who just did a freestyle right here. I was curious to ask one of you, how did you feel about the trailer that you just saw concerning Existence is Resistance? Was it inspiring for you as young people who also do hip hop in Montreal from the Côte-de-Neige district?
Well, for me itself, it was also inspiring because it shows how universal hip hop really is, because it shows that it's not simply about writing rhymes on paper. It could be a way of life and a way to help people get their message out.
I regard, resistance as art. I think art is resistance. We're a generation that we go to the battlefield with weapons of creation. We communicate through theatre, through dance, through song, through rhymes, through rap, through hip hop, and I just feel like we'll never run out of ammunition because. These are weapons from the soul, and the soul is eternal.
Peace and love, everybody. Thank you so much.
The other day, he was standing in the rain, just wearing a t-shirt. I said, hey, get in. You're going to get soaked. You know what he said? So what? I said, no, come on. You're going to get a cold. He said, so what? I said, I was serious. I said, you'll die. You know what he said to me? I'll die, so what? No doubt, I guess.
Oh, yes, no doubt. I'm sure your son's going to have a long, happy and successful life, but he's quite right. We're all going to die. Nothing lasts forever.
Okay, welcome back. We are looking at Certified Copy. It's the new film by Abbas Kiarostami, who's a famous Iranian filmmaker, possibly one of the more, how do I put this, praised, lauded filmmakers working today. He's actually one of the only directors who stayed in Iran after the revolution, which is pretty gutsy when you think about it, and compared it to a tree, and if you transplant it, the fruit isn't as good. And that was his reasoning behind never wanting to do a film outside of Iran, which is interesting because this film is exactly that. It's in English, French, and Italian. It's set in Tuscany. It's a very European type of movie.
This is the painting. Why they call it original copy. You've heard of it?
No.
Well, it's the exact illustration of your book. The ideas you defend in your book.
Certified Copy stars Juliette Binoche and
William Schimmel.
William Schimmel, famous opera performer.
Yeah, he's actually an opera
reason.
singer. Mm-hmm.
And the movie starts off, Juliette Binoche goes to, Schimmel is a writer, and Juliette Binoche goes to one of his book signings, and she's a big fan of his, and she's a big art admirer. And so she goes to meet him, and she starts talking to him, and she takes him back to her place just to talk about art. She's a reporter, is she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she wants to interview him. So most of the movie is just them talking, driving around, walking around, and having conversations about art and about life, whatnot. A lot of Kiarostami's films are very, very talky, and mostly like people having just these deep conversations about...
They're very dialogue-driven.
Yeah, very dialogue-driven, and surprisingly, the images are actually quite interesting. They're like long running takes, people talking. Remind me a bit of Richard Linklater's Before Sunrise, Before Sunset films.
Yeah, he was definitely going for something like that with this film. He was trying to make an homage to that kind of European artsy, talky type of movie. But the thing is, it still has his fingerprints all over it.
Absolutely.
If you know how to look for his tropes, then they're all over the place. Like you said, running shots, a lot of stationary shots. There's a lot of scenes where the camera is in one fixed position and will not move. And he'll sometimes use tricks with mirrors to get multiple subjects in the same shot. Also, of course, long scene in a car. He loves doing scenes in cars. I'm not sure why, he just digs his cars. But yeah, so it feels like an odd little hybrid of styles.
One of the interesting things about Kiarostami is that he also has this, he uses this technique of kind of deconstructing cinema by switching things around, or by showing us something we wouldn't normally see in the films, breaking the fourth wall in some kind of way. There's a certain scene about halfway through the movie where things kind of just change with the characters. They have a specific kind of relationship, and then at a certain point they have a discussion and the relationship completely changes. And Kiarostami's saying, well, this is a film, I can do whatever I want. I can make these characters whoever I want. And so if you're a first-time Kiarostami watcher, it's very odd, because the film is kind of very conventional up until that point.
Yeah,
you're
not sure what's going on. Like, are they just pretending and having a little ball? But then later on, you catch, like, there are things that they couldn't possibly know about each other, and you're like, wait a second, they're not pretending. They've suddenly just changed. The nature of their relationship has completely changed.
You remember you told me about that time you were driving back from Rome to Florence?
Bah oui, mais ça, j'ai fait le trajet, je sais pas, 1000 fois, je sais bien ce que je t'ai dit, c'est toujours moi qui...
Yeah, all right. It was about 5 years ago. It was during the night. Our son was asleep in the back seat. Remember now?
Oui, c'est bien ce que je te dis. J'étais toujours seule et je faisais les allers-retours tous les dimanches.
It was dark, and you told me that you...
That's a really central theme of the movie, is copies and replications, and how is a copy better than reality, or how is it better than the original? And it comes across a lot. Like, the main character wrote an entire book on that theme. A lot of the discussions that he and Juliette Binoche's character have in the beginning are about that topic. But then what's interesting is later on it becomes less talking about it and more living an example, because they're living a kind of replication of a relationship.
The use of mirrors as well is very interesting in that.
Yeah, they do it for several shots in the film. Usually as a camera trick, just to try and incorporate multiple elements into a static camera. But it does jive with that theme that they're going through of the whole movie, of reflection and replication and all that sort of thing.
What did you think of Juliette Binoche and Schimmel's performance?
Schimmel is amazing. I really liked him. He has a very good on-screen presence. He's very comfortable in front of the camera, which is odd because he's barely ever acted before. Yeah. He's an opera singer primarily, and you couldn't tell. You honestly couldn't tell. He seems very seasoned and very experienced in this. As for Binoche, she's very charming. She seems like she's on the verge of tears a whole lot. She constantly seems like she's just about to break down. So she has a very well-defined vulnerability going on through the whole thing.
She's an emotionally troubled, and Binoche does that very well.
Oh yes,
the emotionally troubled person. Okay, so would you recommend this?
Ultimately, I would recommend it. It isn't for everybody. It does take some very strange turns, and it is very slow-paced, very dialogue-driven. If you're looking for really dynamic or stylistic camera work, that's not Kiarostami's forte at all. He tends to shoot things head-on through very stark angles. But it is an interesting experiment. It's very reflective, very philosophical. It's trying to make a lot of very deep points. So if you're looking for a movie that just is contemplative and just ruminating on a single concept and exploring that through multiple angles, then I would say definitely go for it. If you're looking for something more charming and light and typical sort of European pastoral type of thing, maybe not, but it is still definitely worth a look if you know what you're going into.
I think it's even a bit more accessible than Kiarostami's other films.
Yes, definitely.
It's maybe a bit quicker paced and a bit more interesting and more movement and more like visual allure to it. And it's in English. Well, part of it is in English. So I think in some ways it's a good starting off point for Kiarostami if you want to get into his films.
Would you say that what he said holds true about if he left Iran, his films would become totally different, or do you think he's retained enough of his directorial self?
Well, I think obviously the film's going to be different if you're in a new setting. Woody Allen has more recent films he's gone to Barcelona, he's gone to Paris, and he kind of made those cities part of his films. And I think Kiarostami does the same thing here. I think he really like places his aesthetic in this new setting, and he really it's kind of a hybrid of both those things, both the new setting and like his style and his dialogue and that kind of stuff.
Well, it does take a lot of guts to go out there and try and prove wrong something that you've said about yourself. Yeah, he said that it would never be the same and that he wouldn't be as good, but he's going to try it anyway, and I think he did succeed ultimately.
I think so as well. So that's our review of Certified Copy. Check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
This month, the Cinémathèque Québécoise has a retrospective on actress Luce Guilbeault, a series of French comedies, and a collection of Baltic and Norse films playing up until June 19th. Check out the full schedule at cinemathèque.qc.ca.
DVD releases! Yeah!
Okay, this week we're going to talk about our 2 DVD picks. Thomas has one, I have one. My pick for this week is the new Decline of the American Empire Blu-ray disc, 25th anniversary edition, which is coming out next week on the 14th. In my opinion, it is his masterpiece of a film. A lot of people talked about the Barbarian Invasions, but I think Decline of the American Empire, the prequel, is as good, if not better, film. It's about these two. It's about the relationship between men and women, and it's about sexuality, and it's about debauchery, and it's about these intellectuals who try to live their lives in just this horrible way, and it's hilarious, and it's just depressing, and it's great, and check it out.
And in a completely different note, I have a movie about a tire. A tire that can make things blow up. Why can he make things blow up? Just because. That is what this movie is about. It's a film called Rubber by a director named Quentin Dupieux. I probably am not pronouncing that right, Dupieux. Basically, he has made this movie as a tribute to Why Not. He starts the movie just talking directly to the camera, asking things, why is E.T. brown? Just 'cause. Why do we take all these things for granted in films? Just 'cause. Why can't you make a movie about a tire that wakes up for no reason, falls in love with a girl, rolls around, kills things? There's no reason you can't. And this movie is all about just 'cause. So I'm going to recommend that one to you guys.
Yeah, Rother was very popular at last year's Fantasia Film Festival, sold out both its screenings really fast. It had a small run at Cinema du Parc. I checked it out. Great film. You should check it out too. That's a week. Boom. Boom?
Boom.
That's Fade to Black for this week. I hope you join us next week, where we talk about movies and stuff.